That's right. Hi, we're back with Freedom Business with my good friend, Robert Zarco. He's a top franchise attorney. We're going to talk to him about what that means. We already heard that he's a top trial lawyer and how important the law is to him. Welcome back, Robert Zarco.
So good to be back. I just love your energy, my friend.
I love you too, man. You're just the most tremendous dude. So listen, tell me a little bit about what it is to be a franchise attorney, some of the franchisees and what they represent to you, and maybe we even get to why we're sitting in front of a Big Mac. I don't know. So rolling it at you, Robert. Tell me about the franchise biz.
Well, first of all, I think you have to hear as to how I got into it. When I was a young boy and I was mowing lawns and making a few dollars, I understand the value of money at a very, very early stage. And I remember very, very vividly, still do. My mom and dad, one day when I was about, 10 years old, 12 years old, I already had a few dollars, saved in the bank.
You're such a big shot.
And at that point, I remember driving down the street, Northwest 7th Street and 27th Avenue, and there was a Burger King there in that area. And I remember driving by and seeing a whole line of cars and people on the line waiting to get these
one
burgers.
of the first Burger Kings.
Yes, and I was like, wait a second, this is crazy. I said, you know what, one day when I get older, I want to make sure that I own a Burger King or a McDonald's because I want to make a lot of money. And I was, very industrious and very entrepreneurial, as you saw from the fact that I had this landscape business. And I said, wow, in America, if you own a franchise, you're going to be extraordinarily successful. Roll forward 20 years later. I'm 28, 29 years old, and a case gets referred to my law firm, not the Floyd Pearson firm, the subsequent firm. And it was a case where a Burger King franchisee had been severely encroached and cannibalized on the sales.
This is the famous case.
Yes, the famous Scheck versus Burger King case out of Massachusetts. And as a result of a major legal precedent called Burger King versus Rewitowitz, there was a venue jurisdiction clause that brought the case from Miami, even though the franchisee and the dispute originated in Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, Burger King's down here, though.
Correct. Their headquarters are down here. Right. It's a provision that exists in a lot of the franchise agreements. They have venue jurisdiction where the franchisor always wants their dispute to be fought in their
home turf, yeah.
And in their home turf, they have a lot of connections with a lot of powerful people. That's what these franchisors do. And I guess I can understand it for business sake as to why they do it, but it does not necessarily always benefit the franchisee. Anyway, to make a long story short, a lot of people thought that based on the provisions in the franchise agreement that there was no chance that we had any case. My former partners believed it was a horrible case that had no future, at which point, for various reasons, I separated from that law firm and started Zarco and Associates back in February, March of 1991. Wow. With no clients because I left them all with the prior law firm. Started from scratch, called up a few friends, and I said, hey, I'm on my own. I'm going to give you a very creative fee arrangement as to how I do this, and I would like you to support me. I had done a lot of favors for a lot of people. It was very successful in almost every case that I touched, and all of a sudden the floodgates opened up. We get hired, and I take this, quote, really bad case with me because my former partners didn't want it. I took it. The client and I had a tremendous relationship. To make a long story shorter, okay, I win a landmark decision 4 months after starting this law firm, which I made sure was displayed throughout the country and all the media. And as a result of that, the floodgates and litigation opened up, and I realized, wow, what a profession to be able to get into a business where no one is helping the franchisees because the lawyers were charging by the hour, and the franchisees that came to you were already financially decimated.
They're just normal people.
Normal people that had lost all their money as a result of some wrongful conduct of some of the franchisors. So they would never have the ability to hire a law firm, like mine.
So tell me about your creative solution.
So my creative solution was to do some kind of financial hybrids where I would charge a very, very minuscule amount of money per month just to keep the lights on, and the bulk of our compensation was on a contingency fee basis.
So you believed in yourself and your clients.
I was the equalizer. I was the guy.
Man.
Yes, I decided I was going to equalize this very unfair relationship.
Tremendous.
And as a result of that, I gained a tremendous specialty. That case settled for a very substantial substantial amount of money, and I did have a substantial contingency element in it. So that was the catalyst that really fed the law firm and was able to allow me to fund other clients that came in from other brands.
That's great.
So back from 1991 through today, with the systems that we represent grew from one system, which is Burger King, to today we represent franchisees from over 500 brands.
500 brands?
Throughout the world, 23 countries, 44 states. We believe it's the largest, we're confident it's the largest franchise practice in the world.
I think that Zelda needs to do some research on that to make sure that we have that definitive information.
Yes, I'm pretty sure about that. And I don't think anybody's really going to dispute.
Franchises there. This is tremendous. So,
and interesting when you talk about real estate, you know, every franchisee out there knows that McDonald's is not in the franchise business.
The real estate business.
McDonald's is in the real estate business because the money is being made not from the sale of hamburgers. The sale of hamburgers is a vehicle to measure the amount of rent that is being paid on the land that is owned. So the higher the revenue, the gross revenue of the McDonald's sales, the higher the rent. So the rent is not a fixed amount.
Oh, they get percentage rent.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And the way it's calculated is so that the property is paid off to McDonald's within 7 years.
Wow, then the rent must be ridiculous.
Well, it is, but then again, kudos to McDonald's. Their brand is very powerful. You can take a poor piece of land, put a McDonald's on it, and you've tripled the value of that piece of land merely by the revenue generated of running a McDonald's business. So, you know, you can't criticize them. It's a phenomenal business model. It has worked. It's made a lot of people very, very wealthy. But once in a while, some lower level manager may make a decision that may not be consistent necessarily with the company's overall philosophy, or perhaps, who knows where it starts, a franchisee, you know, becomes a victim of something or becomes hurt as a result of some wrongful conduct, and that's where we step in to level that playing field and become the knight in white shining armor for the franchisees. And because of our financial model, where we're able to take the cases primarily on a contingency, we open the doors and allow the franchisees to have their day in court, which prior to our arrival on this business, there was no one out there.
That's amazing. And so now I understand why you have all these loving and complimentary, I really just did it on my phone. And it's just so tremendous. Your marketing team is great by getting the word out. You know, I go to your website and I can feel not only success, but kindness and caring and transparency, you know, and that's really the most important things that people look for in every aspect of business.
It is a rare event that a client will come in that does not hire us because they can't afford it. Because thank God, I have been exceptionally blessed with financial success as a result of this business. And I bend over backwards to give a client a deal so that they don't go to another lawyer who claims that they practice franchise law but don't even know how to spell franchise, and then they end up getting less than appropriate level of legal representation. So that's part of my pseudo, quasi, pro bono kind of work, but in addition to pro bono that I may do, but it's a way for me to be able to, first of all, keep the business close to the vest, and make sure that the franchisees get the best representation possible. I really care.
I feel it. I see it.
Jim,
I know it.
At this point, it's no longer about the money. I told you, I could have been out for a long time. It's just, I love it. It's very nice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that getting paid a few shekels is a bad thing. But if at the same time while you're doing it, you are helping people's change their lives. You don't know what it's like to have someone come to you and say, here's money, and their hands are shaking. And I'm like, well, is everything okay? He goes, here's my retainer for you, because the reality is that if you don't win, I have to commit suicide.
I'm decimated.
No. Suicide. 3 times in my career. You have no idea. I'm getting goosebumps because I remember that day, and it changed my life, realizing, oh my God, this franchise business model, this corporate structure that's set up as a way to run a business, can make you very wealthy or it can decimate you. And when you undertake that kind of responsibility and that level of commitment is required by you as a lawyer to change a family's life, where people have had to were being foreclosed or have to take their children out of college to be able to live, that's a very heavy burden on your shoulders.
Listen, I've been your client. I know exactly what you're talking about. You saved us not only financially, but emotionally as well. Having you on the team is really a wonderful thing from a variety of reasons. We're going to get into what you do besides franchise law right after we sell a couple of cars for Warren Henry. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, great. Roll it, Mendoza.